Hey everyone, this is Patrick, and this is another edition of Heavy Therapy. It is that time of the year again, where we all reflect on our favorite releases of this year, and at the midpoint of 2022, I did not think this year was as strong as last year. By the end of this year, I think maybe this year was stronger than last year. Extreme music, metal is in a fantastic place, in my opinion. I did not quite count the number of full lengths I listened to this year, but it was definitely over 120 new full lengths that came out this year. There was about 60 that were fighting for this top 40. For my top 40 spots, and there are quite a few runners up that I would have made it on any other year, but this is a really tough year. Let's talk about what I'm listening to before we begin. This is Every Time I Die and their 2009 album New Junk Aesthetic. Every Time I Die is my favorite band. They are a combination of, they're mostly a hardcore band, I would say, but a lot of metal heads should give them a chance. Rock and roll, hardcore, there's thrash riffs, there's some grind in it. Every Time I Die, New Junk Aesthetic is what we are listening to together. Okay, let's begin. My number 40 album of 2022 is a Finnish raw death metal band called Hexerei. This is their album called Ancient Evil Spirits, out on Sentient Ruin Laboratories. You get 4 tracks, 34 minutes of music. Like I said, raw black metal from Finland. It starts with this evil, howling laughter, some guitar bends, and then we're off. Riffy, evil, speed influenced, raw black metal. The way they structure this album is first 3 tracks are, normal length, a little bit longer than, death grind songs, but the 4th song is a 15-minute, 46-second epic, and I talked about it on one of my collection updates, the structure of it, the flow of it. This reminds me of Dark Throne. I think of it as ancient, prehistoric black metal, early immortal might be another touchstone, hypnotic repeating riffs. There's always this cloudy, smoky atmosphere throughout it. This was a little bit higher up on my list, but it fell a little bit. This is good raw black metal. Hexerei is my number 40 album of 2022. Number 39 is this bad boy right here. This is Maul with Seraphic Punishment, out on Gurgling Gore. You get almost 37 minutes of music spread across 10 tracks. These guys are from Fargo, North Dakota. You got Garrett on Vox, and Garrett's vocals, one of my favorite vocal performances of the year. To me, he sounds like a combination of Steve from 200 Stab Wounds, John Tardy of Obituary, the guy from Atrebelis, a little bit of Revocation, very dynamic, lows, mids. There's some high shrieks, high screams as well. Maul, I was skeptical of this band for a while. I can't really explain why. I just kind of put them in a certain group. Maybe the artwork made me think it was going to be kind of like deathcore. Pretty cool fold out right here. Yeah. What's cool about this Maul album is it's the catchy death metal, kind of like Undeath, but very impressive guitar style. Think of it as old school death metal with modern production. Some of the riffs remind me of Immolation. There's obituary throughout this album, not just the vocals. The opening riff in Infatuation reminds me of a Gojira song that they had on Magma. And yeah, Maul, just a really great death metal album that really stood out in a sea of mostly death metal for me, right? That's my favorite genre. Maul with Seraphic Punishment is number 39. Number 38 is another debut. These actually first two were debut albums. This is a debut album. This is Deadbody with the Requiem out on closed Casket Activities. You get 8 tracks, 20 minutes of music. It's a little short. Taylor Young does the vocals and guitars on here. Taylor Young is also in Zeus. He was the drummer in Nails. Producer and engineer and mixing on this as well. So this is one of Taylor Young's new projects. It's a 5-piece out of LA. The art here is by Thomas Toy. Death grind, hardcore influence death metal. They say on their Bandcamp they're influenced by Human Remains, Brutal Truth, Suffocation, and Ass Suck. I hear Immolation at times. I hear Gojira. I hear Autopsy. I hear Spirit World. Even the Dillinger Escape Plan at times. That might not make sense for everyone. I hear Death. They throw a lot at you in 20 minutes, and it doesn't sound like it's a cacophony of sounds. It makes sense, but they throw a lot of parts, a lot of different sections, and every time there's a new transition, there's a cool part. Excited to see what this band does next. This is Deadbody with the Requiem out on closed Casket Activities. Number 37 is Sadistic Ritual with the Enigma, Boundless out on Prosthetic. This band is based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Blackened, thrashy death metal. I think of them as mostly when I want to listen to them, it's because I want to hear a heavy blackened thrash band. But there's some death metal in here as well. 9 tracks, almost 36 minutes of music. I would say for fans of Demiser, Jesus Wept, Deva, Creator, and Spirit World, maybe even Voivod in the bass lines. There's some reverb on the vocals throughout. There's some grindy parts. There's some death metal chugs. This band and album, I have it at 37, but out of these first batch of albums here, they give me the feeling that the next album could be a masterpiece. They give me that feeling that there's still plenty more of them. There's still plenty more of water to tap, well to tap, whatever metaphor I want to use here. Sadistic Ritual have the makings of a 10 out of 10. For now, Sadistic Ritual, the Enigma, Boundless is my number 37 album. Number 36 is a debut again, KILAT with Rantai, Penjinak, out on AR-53. This is raw black metal from Melbourne, Australia. They're a 3-piece. This album is 6 tracks, 32 minutes of music. And even though it's listed as a demo on Metal Archives, I did reach out to the band, and the band confirmed that it is a full length. That's why it's here. It's listed as raw black metal, but I think of a lot of death metal bands too. So here's the bands I thought of the most while listening to KILAT. Golgothan Remains, another, I believe Melbourne, but at least another Australian-based dissonant death metal band, right? So KILAT is like Golgothan Remains. There's Noisy Chug like Maul creates, which is a death grind band. But there's that black metal, post-black metal of Gyrea. I even hear some punky black metal like Psy. There's some stomping death metal like Zampantli here. There's some Black and Doom on track 4, which makes me think of the Thou Mismer split, which came out this year. This is a great release. So check out KILAT with Rantai Penjinak. This is my number 36 album of 2022. Up next is a project that I was recently introduced to. Anatomical Amusements with Corporal Kaleidoscope out on Bizarre Leprous. This is the other project of Steven of Pharmacist. This is 6 tracks, 37 minutes of music, and it is awesome. If you like Pharmacist, you'll like Anatomical Amusements. This is gore grind, carcass worship for fans of morbific, cadaver, body asphyxiation science. There's some Pantera-like stomp in here. I don't like Pantera, but that is, I was trying to think about this type of death metal. Probably could just say Carcass, right? Carcass all day long. Anatomical Amusements. They rose up this list fast when I heard this album. I'm looking to get this album on physical media. Again, another project of Steven from Pharmacist. Anatomical Amusements, Corporal Kaleidoscope, my number 35 album of 2022. 34. This bad boy here, Sedimentum, with a very hard to pronounce album title. I'm gonna say Suppuration, Morphogénésiaque, out on Saco un Ojo, Canadian old school death metal, Incantation, Witch Vomit, Gurgling, Malignant Altar. If you like those bands, check this out. Brad Moore cover art, 7 tracks, 38 minutes of music. My favorite track might be number 1. I love when they get doomier though. This just grows with me every time I listen to it. Yeah. Sedimentum is my number 34 album of 2022. Number 33, Wayward Dawn with All Consuming Void out on Emancipation Productions, Denmark, HM2, old school death metal. 7 tracks, 33 minutes and 30 seconds of music. The first track is a 52-second death grind song. The last track, number 7, is 15-minute. It's not a doomier song, right? If you have a long song like that at the end, people probably anticipate a more doomier number. And it's actually kind of a straightforward, mid-paced asphyx, but not the doomier aspects of asphyx. Death metal song, mid-tempo for 15.5 minutes, and it doesn't drag on. Entombed, Tribal Gaze, Necrot, Norith, Morbific, Ace Phaelix. This is that kind of death metal. HM2 is some people's favorite guitar tone. It's not my favorite, so when it sticks, it's there's something special going on for me. Wayward Dawn, this kicks ass. All Consuming Void, HM2 old school death metal. Number 32 is SubOrbital with Planetary Disruption, out on War Anthem Records. They are Germany. They are a German-based death metal, cosmic death metal band, as they advertise themselves. I think of them as progressive death metal, straight out of the mid-90s. This is Pestilence, Testimony of Altars era, Revocation, Martin Van Drunen vocals, The Atheist. SubOrbital Planetary Disruption is just a fantastic, cosmic progressive death metal band. Great leads, great melodies, great chugs. Yeah, I mostly think of Pestilence, some Revocation parts. Haven't seen this show up on really anybody's list, so definitely give SubOrbital Planetary Disruption a listen. Number 31 is a band out of Greece, blackened death metal band, Anti-Creation, with From the Dust of Embers, out on Sentient, actually out on Nuclear Winter Records. I picked mine up from Sentient Ruin Laboratories. Blackened Death out of Greece. I also think of Finnish style death metal. I think of Desolate Shrine. I think of Knoll. I think of Imprecation, Incantation, Triumvir Foul, as my friend Hope, Space Wondrous on Metal Twitter, calls this kind of the style of death metal. This is ancient death metal. Two-piece on this record, though. Christoph played drums. Yeah, Anti-Creation. They just have that style that I really like. Swirling, grinding, atmospheric, dark, blackened death metal. Anti-Creation with From the Dust of Embers. Number 31, right on the cusp of making my top 30. These were my first 10 favorite albums of 2022. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you desire. Please let me know what you think about my list. Tell me if any of these bands are new to you. If you check them out and enjoy them, let me know. If you check them out and think they suck, tell me why I was wrong. So more to come. Thanks for watching. Bye.